Hi everyone, today is going to be a very special and very important presentation. As you know, I've been doing a lot of work recently regarding decoding information that might be contained in sightings and UAP or UFO manifestations. And today is a very, very special presentation because Linda, who goes by the name of Linda A-Roraha, has accepted to share this very personal experience with the community, which I think is one of the most profound experience really in terms of consciousness, a connection with non-human intelligence. Linda has a very powerful and strong connection with her cosmic family. And in 2016, she had a very profound experience, which she proposed that I share today through this video. Recently she had done actually she had asked me to do an analysis of this footage, and so I'm going to honor her request and proposal, and go through a bit the video, and also um, how that leads essentially to some of the work that also I've been doing recently. So we see in this on this slide here, Linda describes her experience. Again, this is a very profound experience, and it's important not to simply just consume this footage or this experience, because it's very profound. These experiences are always very personal. And so, I'm asking the audience here to honor that. So she's mentioning here, I put a few bullet points in the slide to explain that, the afternoon she had asked for 5 crafts to visit her and to perform various shapes in a V shape, most specifically. Also requested to perform a tetrahedron shape, a cross, and other forms, other figures in the sky. And as mentioned here, E.T. knew her intent and love for contact both ways. And in the same evening that she made that request, she was attracted or pulled to go outside, and she was guided essentially through this experience, and also guided in terms of holding the camera at a very in a specific way in the sky, and also start the recording at a specific moment. And within a fraction of a second, this amazing, extraordinary sighting took place. I need to mention here that the camera that she's using is, I do have a very, actually I have the same camera here, a night vision camera. It's a Luna Optics. And this camera has a very small angle of view. I believe it's like 2 degrees by 4 degrees or something like that. So it's about, just slightly bigger. If you look at the sky, it's just slightly bigger than the Orion belt, right? So essentially that's the only thing, the Orion belt will take essentially most of the screen, if you will. So it's a very narrow view, and requires a lot of skills actually to handle the camera and to do good footage, without too much movement and everything. I need to precise also that this footage that Linda is sharing with us does not have any tripod. Everything was done by handheld camera, so which adds to this amazing experience that she had. And even she mentioned to me that in prior days her camera was no longer working, and on that evening or that day that she made the request, then the camera just magically restarted working for this experience. So there's a lot that goes into this. It's not simply like to make a demand or making a request and just happens just like that. There's always a story around it, that which essentially is just it's just a connection, really. Once you have these connections with these civilizations, this is what might happen, and in this case, it's quite extraordinary. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to play her footage, and again, I invite everyone to go on her YouTube channel and look for, you can look at the video again with her own description of it. And again, this is quite extraordinary, and I want to thank and honor Linda for sharing again this experience with the community. Following this footage, I'm going to present my own analysis of, or part of the analysis of what information may be contained in this footage, which is quite amazing in itself. So let me start the video right now. So what you will see here, again, Linda was, standing ready, and she got the command to start the footage or the recording. So here's what happened at that moment. Here it is. All right. So again, quite an amazing experience, and we saw in this footage the craft making various geometric forms, just as she had requested. We clearly saw a V shape. There's a tetrahedron, there's a cross, there's a pyramid at some point as well. It looks like a pyramid, and so very touching, very profound experience. So how, if we look at the analysis of this footage, one thing that I instinctively felt compelled to look at is this V-shaped formation, because that's also when the crafts were a bit stable. So there was a couple of seconds where the crafts were pretty stable in that configuration. So I took a screenshot of it and did an analysis of the angle of the V shape itself. So we see here on the left side, this is the little screenshot of what we saw in the video. Here is the enlarged version, essentially, of that. We see three crafts at the bottom here are very, pretty horizontal, so that was perfect to establish a baseline to calculate an angle to this V shape. And for the two crafts that are here, they are not perfectly aligned, so I ended up actually going in between and taking an average, essentially, of these two crafts. And extraordinarily, amazingly, what came out of it is that the angle that is revealed by this amazing sighting is equal to 144 degrees. And so, we've talked about, I've been talking about this fundamental harmonic of light in my past presentations. So I invite everyone to go take a look at it. But this is very significant because this ties, again, this fundamental harmonic of light ties into very profound things. Just like, if we look, the best analogy I could give here, if we look at the primary colors that we know, the blue, yellow, and red, from these colors, we can reconstruct the entirety of the complete color spectrum, right? Like a rainbow, if you will. That's as we can see here with different wavelengths. And once we have that, I mean, the visible light, we can, everything we see around us, which makes up our physical reality, our perception, is based on that, on this visible light. We see if we go watch a movie, for instance, either at IMAX or on a big screen, what is really hitting us are these waves, these light frequencies of light, of color and sound and everything. And this again, when we look at these things or watch a good movie on the screen or a 3D representation, it feels like it's completely real, right? So that's the best analogy I could give. A few weeks ago, I introduced this universal formula for the light encoded reality matrix, which describes, based on my work, the holographic universe we live in. And I colored the harmonics here just to compare to this analogy of the three primary colors, right, from which we can recreate the entire color spectrum in our visual reality. In this case, I introduced these two harmonics of light, 144, harmonic 432, and the golden ratio, which represents a fractality in our universe. So essentially, with the combination of these two harmonics of light and the golden ratio, we can reconstruct the entire physical reality or physical perception of the reality around us. And all this equal to the number one, which represents the holographic universe and the consciousness field that we all can connect to. And we see here a different representation of how these harmonics of light and the golden ratio essentially makes up the entirety of the physical perception or the reality that we're immersed in. I invite also the audience to look at some of my past videos on my YouTube channel. I recently made a transmission towards Saturn. That's what's described here. And again, this transmission or these manifestations reveal again the very same harmonics of light, 144, 432 golden ratio. And it clearly, there is information, very profound information that's being communicated to us through these sightings, through this experience. Another thing I shared recently was the golden ratio triangular craft, as I call it. Again, this very unique triangular craft in this unique shape that manifested, here where I'm located 4 times now already. And we see here that how this triangular shape contains a lot of mathematical information, and these harmonics are revealed again, harmonic 144, 432, and golden ratio. Again, I'm not going to go through that in details. It's not the purpose of this presentation today, but I invite the audience to look at some of my past presentations with Grant Cameron, for instance, or the Leak projects and other places or other platforms where I presented this information, which is again being communicated to us over and over again. Even the Rendlesham Forest Enigma has a direct connection to these harmonics of light, 144, 432, and golden ratio. Again, I presented that in the past, and we see some of the mathematical information being encoded here. Similarly, we see that being revealed through the Great Pyramid of Giza, amazingly, in a sense, not surprisingly. We see the Pyramid of Giza is filled with this information and with these harmonics. And why is this important? Well, with this knowledge, having the full knowledge of how the universe works, what are the driving forces behind it, we have the ability to create healing technologies, develop interstellar communication, space travel, telepathy, anti-gravity, free energy, and so on. So this is really, really important. Again, this is, these are the building blocks of creation, and we must pay attention to this. Again, I presented a lot of that information in the past, and there's more coming up very soon, which I'm very excited to present. And again, this is, in my opinion, very profound, and I think that our galactic family has been, through various ways, communicating this information to us, because this has really the potential to free humanity and bring new technologies that will really transform the way we live, and we could live in harmony with our planet. So I want again to thank Linda for sharing her very personal and amazing experience, and we'll keep you posted on any further development on that. And thanks everyone for your attention. Okay, take care.